What's going on, everyone? So we're back in the shop, and you guys got to see at least some passes. Didn't get to do a ton of filming on Saturday. Kind of the wrap up. Was hoping to get down there and make some test passes, but ran out of time. They're having testing to 12 to 4, and then the Saturday night street race from 6 to whenever it ends. But we didn't make it down there until like 3:30, and just decided to wait till the test pass and Saturday night street race. So we went out for the test pass and spun, which sucked because we had made a bar change. Thought the track would hold more than it actually did, but then we went, kept the same power, went and walked the track right before the pass, felt it would take the power, made all 4 corner shock changes, loosened up the rebound in the front, tightened up the rebound in the rear so it wouldn't extend so fast. So went down, it made a pass, but we lost by a fender pretty much. And then went out and grudge raced Samsel and lost that. It's slowing down a little bit. I think we made the final determination that the converter is just way too tight for the type of racing we're doing. We were hoping that it would loosen up with more power, but it's a little sketchy because the more power you add, the more at risk you are of, bending rods and stock bottom end. So we messaged, went back and forth with Pete at Circle D, and we still have a Hughes converter, but he's still providing tech service on that, which is awesome. If you guys need a converter, please hit him up. So we're getting a new stator, but currently we are pulling the heads off of it. If you guys can kind of see, I don't know if I talked about this before, but the radiator is bowed, so the tops go up, bottoms go down, and then over here, this curve is supposed to be a flat side, and this side's the same way. It's actually bowing our mounts that we welded on. It's bowing them, like, it's curving them in. So I called Griffin, that's who that radiator's for. They only pressure tested 22 psi, which is really low. I mean, I think it's low. Any, pressure over that, it's gonna bow it. But we found that on the last pass, we had a spike at 38 psi in the cylinder head. So we don't know if it's a sensor. It did gradually climb, but it did have peaks. So we're gonna yank the heads off of it, just check them, make sure they're not, I don't know. We're just gonna see if they're lifted, see if we can find anything. If not, we're throwing new gaskets on it, and we'll be back on our way and hope it fixes that issue. We had an issue with the radiator cap. We didn't think it was venting, but I think this one is. We started the pass with 3 psi, which is basically nothing. This has a vent on the top where you can vent the cylinder pressure, or the coolant pressure, not cylinder. So vented that before the pass, went out, it went, got up to 28, peaked 38. So I think we have an issue somewhere. So we're going to yank the heads off, maybe have to deck the heads. Hoping I can slap them back on and go, but we're going to use BTR's, their new small bore gaskets. So that's the plan for today. I'll keep you guys updated as we pull them off. Alright, so we got the heads off here. Didn't take too long, but we did find some evidence of the heads lifting. We did wipe it off already on the heads, but on the gaskets here, you can see, get the angle right, you can see all this exhaust soot build up. Doesn't really come off, so it was doing it there, so that's number 1 and 3. That's all that we could really find. On this side, you can once again see it was doing it on both sides. This one is a little bit further all the way around, and then it was doing it here and down there. So that's really the only ones we found. We did find, looks like something bounced around the head there. Not too terrible. This is actually marks from me polishing the inside of the chambers, so don't worry about that too much. But other than that, the heads look pretty decent. No real gouges out of it. Didn't burn it up too bad. Probably end up taking these heads and getting decked, just to flatten them up some, make sure they're good to go. But the other gasket was pretty okay. There was some oil buildup down that bottom down there, which I don't really know why. Kind of smeared away, so I don't know where that came from. That might have been a little, but this one was way better. There was a little bit like right there. This might have, I don't know if it was a power issue. I would say we're probably making about 1,000 right now, which is in that territory, and with the torque converter being too tight, I think it's bogging the motor down, loading it up really bad. So I believe that's what happened, and it was just too much torque too early. So got a new stator coming, and that should free up the car some. Get the motor up in the revs, get out of that, the danger zone. So luckily that's all it was. But yeah, we're gonna go get these decked and then slap them back on with some different gaskets. These were just regular LS, these are just 3-layer, nothing fancy, regular 5.3. So we got the BTR small bore head gaskets coming, so we can hopefully try and keep these heads down. What's going on, everyone? So we're back out in the shop. Got Monza's car about to be picked up, so thought we'd roll the shop car in here and get started on a couple things we need to do to it. One major item is a stator swap. So this is the new one from Hughes. So it's a 2130. What's in the car is a 1832, I believe that's right. I'd have to go back and look, it's been a minute. But so I think the whole issue with the head gasket was it was just lugging the motor too much. So we would launch at 4,400, I believe, and then it would drag, it'd get a good RPM, but it'd couple like 6,000, and kind of drag that out a bit, and then it would rise up to our shift point like 74. After the shift, or 74 is low, it was shifting like 78, I think. But after the shift, it was dropping like 1,500 RPM, which is not great on stock bottom end stuff. So it's just pushing a lot of water, and hopefully didn't bend any rods. I don't think it did. I think it just lifted the head. The head casting was not great. It had some weird milling on it from the factory, so I think that contributed to it. It was just 2 cylinders. There was none else, so it was the same head, 2 next to each other. So I think it was kind of a fluke deal. So we are going to get that swapped out. This one should be quite a bit looser, so we can get a higher flash point and hopefully hold up, get the RPMs up and out of that peak torque danger zone. So that's a big one for today. I got the back on it. All I have to do is fill with water. I believe I think I need to still hook up this fuel line back here. This is for the rear fuel cell. It just goes on there. We did get new ball valves from Holley, so thanks to Ron at Holley. We hit him up and we're like, hey, these ball valves are leaking, like we don't know what's going on. So he sent us new ones. Hopefully these ones work. That way we can actually have a true drag and drive. We can leave the methanol in it and still run pump gas and not have to drain everything, and just kind of a pain in the ass. So I think we are start pulling the trans. I'm not going to pull it all the way. I'm just going to slide it back some enough to get the converter out as long as I can. I might have to dump it straight down because of the tunnel. The tunnel's real tight, and it's not the trans in the tunnel, it's the dump valves. So I'm going to get started on it, and you guys can follow along.